Hello and welcome to episode 16 of our inventory tutorial series, as well as episode 5 of the shop system series. So by the end of this video, we're going to be able to pick up all of our items off the ground. We're going to be able to come over to this shop, which doesn't currently have any poison potions. So we can sell them a poison potion. So we'll sell items. And you can see that as we click these items, it updates the item preview panel that we've got here. I'm going to click sell items and sell the poison potion to the shop. The shop now has a poison potion in stock. I'm going to come over here to the potion shop and let's sell them one of my swords. And they've got a sword in their inventory. I can come over here and we'll put some items in that chest, put some cogs in this chest, and maybe let's store our sword as well. Let's save our game, come out. Let's go back in. We can now load the game. All of those items will disappear because we've already picked them up. We've got our cogs and our sword in this chest. We've got our potions in this chest. Let's make a new stack because we can. Why not? You can see that the sword item has been stored in the shop. We can check over here, and this has got the poison potion in stock that we sold them. So we've got the shops saving and loading, as well as remembering their gold and the player gold. All of that is saving quite nicely. That's where we're going to be by the end of this video. So let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so let's crack on with getting the item preview working and being able to sell items from the player's inventory to the shop. So let's go over to our inventory system script here, and we're going to start by displaying the player inventory based on the tabs at the top. So in our refresh item display in our shopkeeper display class, we've got this thing here, and currently we're just saying display player inventory. But actually what we want to do is we want to say if is selling, then we want to display the player inventory. Else we want to display the shop inventory, display layer inventory. Let's cut this, put that there, let's get rid of them. Okay, so let's start to build this display player inventory method. So what we need to do here is we need to loop through all of the items in the player's inventory and then display them in the list on the left-hand side of the shop. So for that, we're just going to do a for each loop, and we're going to go through every item in the player inventory holder primary inventory system, and then we're going to make a method called get all items held, which is going to return a dictionary of items that the player holds. So let's create this method. So this is over on the inventory system.cs script, and it's currently public enumerable. And we're going to make it a dictionary of inventory item data as well as an amount of that. So this is going to be a dictionary made up of distinct items that the player has, because currently the player's inventory is organized into slots, and those slots can have the same item in them and multiple amounts because of the stack splitting and stack assigning and stuff. So what we need is an organized list of how many cogs does the player have. We don't care about what stacks they're in, just how many cogs are in the player's inventory. So that's what this is going to do here. So we're going to make a new dictionary called distinct items, and this is going to be a dictionary of inventory item data and an int, and this is what we're going to return at the end of this method. And here we're going to loop through all of the items in the player's inventory. So we'll do for each item in our inventory slots. If the inventory slots, if the item.data is equal to null, then we don't have an item in that slot, it's empty, so we can just continue, which will skip to the next item in the loop. But if it's not null, then we can check this dictionary to see whether we've already put the item in it. So we want to say if distinct items doesn't contain key, our item.data, which, the first time this goes around, it won't. So if distinct item.contains key item data, then let's add it. Let's add the data to the dictionary. So item.data data, and the int is going to be how many of that item we have, so stack size. And then we can say else. So here we're checking if it doesn't contain the key, then let's add it to the dictionary. And if it does contain the key, let's just increase the amount of the item that we've got. So we can say else distinct items using the data as the key, and then we can plus equal item.stack size. And then finally, we can just return our distinct items dictionary here. So now we have a dictionary that's organized by inventory item data and the amount of that we've got. And that's looped through all of our slots. So now we're going to make a variable called temp slot, and this is going to be equal to a new shop slot. Because obviously the other shop slots in the display shop inventory are being driven by the shop's inventory list, the scriptable object. Here we're doing it from the player's inventory. So we're going to make a new temporary slot. To that slot, we're going to assign item, and it's going to be our item.key and item.value from this dictionary that we're looping through. And then we're going to instantiate a shop slot. So shop slot equal to instantiate shop slot prefab and the item list content panel at the transform. And then we're going to initialize that slot by passing in our temp slot as well as the shop system. And this is going to be the cell markup. So here we can offer the player more or less for their items based on the shop cell markup. And that's it for displaying the player inventory. Everything else should work kind of fine with it. But the one thing we do need to do is we need to set up the tabs that change mode, that change kind of, whether we're buying items or selling items. So to do that, we're going to make two methods here. We're going to do a public void on buy tab pressed and a public void on sell tab pressed. And we're going to say is selling is equal to true if we've clicked the sell tab, and then we can refresh our display. And if the buy tab is pressed, then we're just going to set is selling to false and again refresh the display. And while we're here, we've got this update item preview method that we made but never implemented. Let's just implement that just so we can kind of get everything tied up in this video. So we'll do variable data is equal to the shop slot UI dot assigned item slot dot item data. And then we're going to set our item preview sprite to the data sprite dot sprite equal to the data dot icon. We're going to set the sprite color equal to color.white. We can update the item preview name dot text to equal the data dot display name. And the item preview description dot text is equal to the data dot description. And I'm just going to copy these. Copy. I'm going to go to our clear item preview function that we made, method. I'm just going to paste them in. And then here we can set the sprite to null. We can make it invisible. We can set the text to an empty string, and we can set the data, the description, to a empty string as well. And now we can copy the clear item preview method, and when we display the shop window and we call refresh display, so as clearing the slots, let's clear the item preview as well. So let's just check that that is all working, see where we're up to with that. So let's pick up some items here. We've got poison potion, health potion, some cogs, and 2 swords. So let's go over to this shop here. So we're currently in buy mode. If we click the sell tab, oh, sorry, nothing will happen because we need to hook up those buttons. The tabs don't actually do anything. So we'll go to buy button. We'll get this on click event. We'll drag in our shop controller, shopkeeper display on buy tab pressed. And then with the sell button, again, drag in the shop UI controller, shopkeeper display on sell tab pressed. So again, let's make sure we pick up some items. So we'll come over here, pick up all these. We'll go over here. Let's press E to bring up the shop window. Now let's click the sell tab. And we can see now, this is the player inventory. You see this shop is actually offering us more for the potions than they're actually worth, which is quite good. But it is selling them for 150G. And we can add these to the basket here. And you can see that the shop's got 1,000 gold. If we go over the 1,000 gold mark, I don't know if we'll be able to. I don't think there's enough stuff to go over the 1,000 gold mark. I mean, there isn't, because we've got shop gold. Because we didn't pick up enough stuff. There wasn't enough stuff in the world. But that's now adding it to the players, to the shopping cart. So now when we click the sell item button, we need to be able to sell the items like we can buy items from the shop. So let's go back over to our script, and we've got private void sell items on our shopkeeper display. So here, we're going to do similar to sort of the buy items. We're going to say if the shop system dot available gold is less than the basket total, and let's just return because we don't want to continue. We don't want to sell anything to the shop. But if the shop does have enough gold to buy all of the players' items, we're going to loop through with a for each loop. We're going to loop through every item in the shopping cart, and then we're going to get our shop system. I'm going to make a new method called sell item. And there we're going to pass in the key value pair key, as well as the kvp dot value. And we'll make that method in just a second. And then I'm going to do variable price is equal to get modified price kvp dot key kvp dot value shop system dot sell markup. And the reason we're not doing this in here is because we need to use the price to reduce the gold from the shop and increase the gold on the player's inventory. What we could do is pass the price through to sell item. Actually, let's do that. That might make a little bit more sense. So let's do that. So we're going to calculate the price. We'll pass in the price to this sell item method. And then we can do player inventory holder primary inventory system dot gain gold, which will take in the price. Let's make this method in a second over on the player inventory, and then we'll do player inventory holder dot primary inventory system, and then we'll remove items from inventory. And we're going to remove the key value pair dot key. That's the item that we're going to remove and how many of the item we are going to remove. So let's make this sell item method first. So this is over on our shop system.cs script. And all this is going to do is it's going to add to shop, and it's going to add the key VP key and the KVP value to the shop. And then we can just call gain gold and we can pass through the price. So now let's make these two methods on our inventory system. So I'm going to implement gain gold and implement remove items from inventory. So gain gold is just going to do available gold plus equals price. Nice and simple. Now for the remove items from inventory, let's get rid of that. I'm going to rename that to data and amount just to keep. So that's what I've named kind of all of the other inventory, kind of add in variables, makes sense. So we're going to say if contains item data, and we're going to get back out a list of inventory slots called inv slot. We're going to get out our list of inventory slots from our contains item method. And then we're going to see for each slot in our inventory slot list, we're going to get the stack size. So var stack size and set that equal to slot.stack size. And then we can say if stack size is greater than the amount that we're trying to remove from our inventory, then we can call slot.remove from stack, and we can just remove the amount from that one slot. If, however, we have, but for example, if amount was greater than stack size, then we need to go to the next slot in our list and remove it from that. So we can say else slot.remove from stack size, And then from amount that we've passed in, we can minus equal the stack size. So then it'll go around again to the next slot that has that item in it, and it'll remove the next from that stack size until it's been through them all. And we need to also, once the slot has been modified, we need to call on inventory slot changed and invoke that method or that action and pass in the slot. And we just need to add to this remove from stack function. So we want to say here, if stack size is less than or equal to 0, then let's clear the slot. Because at that point, you know, it's all gone. We don't need to, because obviously at that point, we don't want to go into minus. We just want to clear the slot out. Once we've got to 0, we can just make it an empty slot. So let's go back to shopkeeper display. So we've got sell items here, and then we just need to call refresh display. So let's see if that is working. So let's press play. I'm going to come over here, let's pick up these items, and we can come over here, we can press E, bring up our shop window, go over to the sell tab, and let's sell 2 potions to the shop. So we should see the player gold will increase by 250 and the shop gold will reduce by 250. So let's hit sell items, and we've made a little mistake. Instead of gain gold, we need to reduce gold, which isn't a method that we've made. So reduce gold. Okay, so this is where this gets a little bit confusing, because the way I've named all this is from the player's perspective. So sell item, obviously we're a shop, so that can be a bit confusing. Are we selling the item to the player, or is the player selling an item to the shop system? I've gone from the point of view of the player, because it's the player that's doing kind of the acts in the world. So when we sell an item and call this, the player is selling an item to the shop. So it's going to add to the shop, and then we need to reduce the shop's gold amount. So let's hit play and just make sure that works as planned. So let's go pick up all of this stuff, press E, sell 2 of our other, that's buy. Let's go over to our sell tab. So let's sell 2 health potions, and we can see here that the description, the item preview, it shows the last item that we clicked. So if we try and add a cog to the basket, it'll display this is a cog. We can remove that cog from the basket, and then let's sell our items. So now you can see the player gold increased by 250 and the shop gold reduced by 750. And then if we go back over to the buy tab, we can see now that the health potions have been added to the bottom of the list, and we've got a bit of an issue here. So you can see that it's added them to the shop, but it's also added them at the bottom of the list there. So let's just figure out what's going on there. Let me just sell those items to the shop. Go to the buy tab. Okay, so there's a little bit of a bug there. It is adding it to the shop, but we're getting this these additional items as well, which we don't obviously want. So let's figure out what's going on there. Okay, so the problem was we just need to return. So when on the shop system script, we've got our add to shop function. Once we've added it to the stack, we needed to call return. So what was happening is we were adding it to the stack, and then we were also assigning it to a free slot. So if we just put return in our add to shop function on the shop system script, that should solve that issue that we were having. Let's just confirm that. Let's pick up some items, go over here, go to the sell tab. We'll sell the items to the shop. So there's 3 cogs. We can hit the sell button. The store sold the money. Go back over to the buy tab. And now we can see that the cogs have increased, the health potions increased, but we've not actually got in the bottom that issue that we were having. So, and then we can buy items from the shop. So we're going to spend 610 of the player gold and increase the shop gold by 610. So let's buy. And then we can go over to the sell tab, and now we can see we've got our 4 health potions and 5 cogs. And we'll sell the cogs back. You can see there's a bit of an issue there. The rounding seems to be having a bit of a problem. Let's figure out why that was. Okay, so that was a quick change. All we needed to do, in our get modified price, it was rounding up. We just needed it to round down. So instead of round to int, I've put floor to int. And that's on the shopkeeper display. So that's what that issue was there. So one of the kind of other things that we want to do is be able to save and load our shop system to kind of reflect that we've, that the shop has gained and lost stuff. And the place that we do that is over on our shopkeeper.cs script. So over on our shopkeeper script, just like we've done with our other save and load items, what we want to do is in awake, we're going to store a reference to our ID. So let's do private string ID. And then here we'll say in awake ID equals get component unique ID. And let's get the ID of the NPC. And then we're going to make some shop save data. So outside of our class, we'll do public class shop save data. And we can do system.serializable for our shop save data. And this is just going to hold a public shop system reference in it, which I'll call shop system. This could take in a position and a rotation if you wanted. So for example, if the shopkeeper kind of wandered around, you could save that data. I'm just going to keep it basic though. So I'm just going to store the shop system for now. But just so you know, you can store other stuff in this, like whatever you care about for your shop. And I'm just going to say public shop save data. This is the constructor, and it's just going to take in a shop system, which I'll call shop system. And you guessed it, we'll do shop system equals shop system. So back up to awake, we're going to get the ID here. And then under that, we can say shop save data, which we're going to keep a reference to. So private shop save data called shop save data. So shop save data is equal to new shop save data, passing in our shop system in a start method. So private start, we're going to make a new dictionary on our save game manager. Just like we did with the chests, they're all stored in a dictionary. If you think about it, the NPCs are kind of like chests, but slightly different. So we can do if save game manager dot data, and we'll do dot, and then we're going to do shopkeeper dictionary. And then we'll check whether the dictionary contains the key of our ID. So let's make this shopkeeper dictionary over on our save game manager. It's going to be save data, this class. So I'll do this underneath our chest dictionary. So I'll do public serializable dictionary, taking in a string and some shop save data. And we'll call this the shopkeeper dictionary. And then here we'll do shopkeeper dictionary is equal to a new serializable dictionary of string and shop save data. So if it contains the ID, so if it doesn't already contain the ID, we'll do save game manager dot data dot shopkeeper dictionary dot add ID and shop save data. And I'm going to rename this to be consistent to just have an underscore. And then in our on enable function, we can say save load dot on load game, and we'll do load inventory, which will be a new method that we make, as well as on disable. Copy this, paste it in here, and we'll unsubscribe from it. And then we're going to make this load inventory method, which takes in some save data, which I'll just call data. And here we'll say if the data dot shopkeeper dictionary, and we'll try and get our ID out of the dictionary. And if it does exist, if the value is there, we're going to get out the shop save data, which I'll just call shop save data, and we'll return. So if the shopkeeper dictionary doesn't have a reference to the current shopkeeper, then we'll just return. But if it does, then we can say our shop save data is equal to shop save data, which is this here. And then we can say our shop system is equal to the shop save data dot shop system. So again, this save and loading, this way of doing save and loading is what we've done with the player inventory, what we've done with the chest inventory, what we've done with the stuff that's on the ground. So that should hopefully all make sense to you. If not, maybe go back and watch the save data video again. That should work. We may have an issue with the unique IDs. So if I go over to our shop NPCs, so I want to make sure that these IDs stay the same. So 2D093041, we'll hit play. Okay, so that's staying the same. There's no errors there from console. I'm going to get rid of this debug.log though. So let's hit play. And let's just check that this is working. So I'm going to go over, pick up these items to our shop. I'm going to, it's got 99 cogs. I'm going to buy, let's say buy 9 cogs. We'll buy them from the shop. We'll sell them a poison potion. So sell items. That's now there in the shop. If I close the shop and walk away, go back. So that's all working. It's got 90 cogs, 1 poison potion. Let's hit save. So we can see saving game. Let's exit, come back in. So it's reset to default. Let's load our game. We can see that the stuff that we'd already picked up has gone. We've got the cogs that we bought in our inventory. And the poison potion is there, and the cogs are all gone in the shop. So that's the saving and loading of the shop done. One thing I do really want to quickly do, because it's annoying me, is on our UI manager that we made, the UI controller, in an update function, I'm just going to say if keyboard.current.get escape key was pressed this frame, then I want to set the shopkeeper display to false, just so I can close the shop without having to keep actually selecting the game object. So that's pretty much it for the shop system. That's all done. I don't think there's anything else we need to cover. I thought maybe there'd be a couple more episodes left, but there's only, I think that's everything done, unless there's something ridiculously glaring. I may have to pop in from the future while editing this to say that that's the case, but I mean that's all working. That's the shop inventory done. We can close these shop windows now with the escape key, which makes it a lot easier. We've got all of our items on the ground which we can pick up. We can come over here, we can put poison potion and some cogs in this chest. In this chest we'll put a sword. To this shop, we will sell a sword, we'll save our game, we'll come back in, we'll hit play, we will load the game, they'll all go, got a sword in that chest, poison potion and a cog in this chest, and they've got 1 more sword than they had earlier. So yep, that's all working. We've got the save and load in. I hope this series was enjoyable and you kind of got it all. If there's any big glaring issues that you need some like clarity on, let me know in the comments or join the Discord server where I'll be able to help you a bit better. If there's like frequently asked questions, then I'll probably do a follow-up video or maybe like a code review or something. But for now, thanks for all your support from this series. I'm going to take a little break from this inventory tutorial series while I just think up of kind of what I want to do next. I may do in a couple of weeks a crafting system. So that was quite simple to set up. So if you want to see how we can use items from our inventory to work in a crafting system, do let me know. What I may do though is do a bit more of a general crafting system video, and I'll probably mention in that on how we could probably hook this into the system just to make it a bit more generic. But for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'd just like to take a minute to thank all of my patrons. On screen now we can see the 10,000 XP tier, which is Sector Sweep, and I want to thank all of the 4,000 XP tier members as well.